Went to a party last night, if you want to call it that. A games night, allegedly. Keith insisted we go out and mingle in new circles. It'll be exciting, he said. Let's go have some fun. I said to him I haven't had fun since 1972, and I'm doing perfectly fine. Besides, there's a programme on the BBC Two about the secret life of Dyson helpline operators that I wouldn't want to miss. Then he brought up the summer of 96. So I went. I got ready and we left. It was a party at a house in Watton Wood, not one I frequented before, nor, might I add, did I know the owner. Come to think of it, I'm not entirely sure of their connection to Keith, truth be told. I was taken aback by how stunning the drive was up to the front of the house. They had electric gates. Oh, it really was a treat. And so naturally, I began to loosen up somewhat. I mean, if a person can't relax in the presence of an owner of electric gates, then who can they relax around? We were greeted at the door by Paul and Vanessa, very well turned out, and the peach decor in the hall, exquisite. Vanessa promptly held out a vintage cut crystal bowl, Royal Doulton if I'm not mistaken, and Keith dropped our car key in. Strange custom, I thought. However, there were many cars out front, so I suppose it makes it easier to juggle them around if need be, you know, if someone needed to leave in a hurry and such. As Vanessa walked me into their occasional lounge, she said, "Call me Ness." And I thought I won't. She introduced me to her other friends. Well, I say friends, more acquaintances, I suppose. Many, like us, were just meeting for the first time. She introduced me to her brother David, very dashing, and a doctor to boot, plus her Aunty Sally, very glamorous, Hollywood blow-dry, red sequin gown, matching eye patch, very classy. The old money type, you know. Paul made his way around the room with glasses of champagne on a silver tray. Veuve Clicquot. The champagne, not the tray. Apparently we were last to arrive, so it was time to toast a great evening and let the fun begin. Which I was a little miffed about, as I hoped there'd be food first, especially with alcohol flowing. Just even a few casual nibbles. I mean, really, it doesn't take much. Just a handful of nuts would have been better than nothing. Vanessa then walks back through the sliding double doors of the occasional lounge with the vintage cut crystal bowl of car keys from the hall. I thought, typical. Someone is leaving already, and we need to move the cars about. Well, being last to arrive, we were bound to be blocking others in. She placed it on the marble-top coffee table and said, "Who's first?" I thought, thank goodness, and said, "We were last." Then, in turn, all the women in the room pulled out a key. So, as I came to understand, pulling out the key determines who you got to play with during the evening. We were being teamed in pairs, you see, one woman, one man. Mixing the couples, as it were. A relief, I thought, as I see enough of Keith. Even more so since his retirement. Having unwittingly declared that we were last, we waited until everyone took their turn. Well, I say we. A young woman called Cindy from Slough, with red hair and a faux leather jacket, pulled our key out sixth, so naturally she got partnered with Keith. She didn't seem too impressed, mind, which I didn't think was entirely fair, because Keith, to give him his due, is actually rather good at playing games, so I knew she was in for a pleasant surprise. I told her as much. I said, "Don't judge a book by its cover, dear. With my Keith playing with you, you could actually end up coming first tonight." Everyone laughed, although I'm not sure why. At any rate, I don't think I've ever seen Keith look so happy. I then placed my hand in the bowl and pulled out the remaining key. It was... I don't think I can even bring myself to say it now, actually. A Picanto. A Kia Picanto. I said no. No, I can't do this. You cannot expect me to be playing with the owner of a Kia Picanto all evening. I'm the owner of a denim blue Mercedes-Benz SLK with cruise control and reverse parking camera. I then said there was a BMW key in that bowl. I want to play with the owner of the BMW instead. Now, I'd already clocked that Vanessa's Aunty Sally, she didn't have a key, nor was she partnered up with a playmate. So I insisted that she play with, do you know what? I didn't even get his name. But she said no. She doesn't like to play, apparently, just likes to watch. Who goes to a games night just to watch, I ask you? I mean, with that patch on her eye, she'll miss half of it anyway. I was then informed that I didn't have to do anything I didn't want to, and that the evening was consensual. That me and Mr. Picanto could go as slow as we liked. I said that's the only way a Kia knows how. The issue, you see, is I'm very competitive by nature. I know you wouldn't think it to be true, but it is. So it was important to me that if I were to play, that I end up on top, and that I would do all that I could to stay there. I'm not the sort of person that takes a challenge lying down. Work hard, play harder. That's always been my motto. Vanessa poured me another glass of the Veuve Clicquot whilst I sat in contemplation on the immaculate cream-leather two-seater settee of their luxurious four-piece suite, with my bare feet nestled cosily in their shag-pile rug beneath me. Everyone else kindly left the room and went upstairs, including Keith and Cindy, so I could think. Ever so mindful of the time passing as I dithered over Mr. Picanto, he tried to fill the silence by asking my name. Oh, he was only trying to break the ice, I know. But I implored him not to ask such personal questions. If we were going to play together, then it needed to be wham bam, thank you ma'am. None of this getting to know you business. Although, I said, before we go any further, I must inquire as to the colour of the Kia Picanto. Momentarily he looked stunned. Then sheepishly responded, red. Keith! I shouted, jumping to my feet. I shouted, Keith! We're leaving! This place is full of perverts! He must have been on the toilet as I yelled for him as he was fastening his trousers as he hurtled red-faced down the stairs. With that we left. Thank goodness we were last in, that's all I can say. I don't think my nerves could have taken the hoo-ha of waiting for others to move their cars about so we could leave. I don't think we'll be seeing them again. Paul and Vanessa, that is. It's so infuriating that they would throw such a spectacular party and then allow the owners of a Kia Picanto to share a vintage cut crystal bowl, possibly Royal Dalton, with the likes of me and Keith. We drive a Mercedes-Benz, for Christ's sake. AMG Sportsline, limited edition. Where is the etiquette? Oh, shame though, really. Such a lovely, lovely house. I honestly would have expected better of people with electric gates. I mean, what is the point of having such security if not to keep the lower classes of society out? A Kia Picanto in red. Oh. Well, I've said to Keith, that's it. No more fun. I'd have been better staying indoors and watching The Secret Life of a Dyson Helpline Operator. At least you know where you stand with the BBC.